Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Happy Friday. Today we are going to be making a Tangram tumbler. These have been super popular lately, and I know I kind of missed the train a little bit on these, but I still wanted to make a video showing you how I use double-sided adhesive to achieve really crisp and clean lines. So that's what today's video is. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos every week. Thank you so much for watching. We're so glad you're here, and I hope you enjoy. Bye. Here we go. So we're starting with a 20-ounce skinny. This is a pre-sanded skinny from MakerFlo, and I'm using Rainbow Green from Montana Colors. I'm just going to spray paint the entire tumbler. We're getting a really good base coat. I'm using all greens, so I just picked a general green to use as a base for all the glitter. I'm going to be using 8 different glitters today, all greens and one kind of like champagne gold color, which is Sophia. So here are all the colors I'm using. I'm pretty much picked all of the like olivey greens that I had. I'm going to be using double-sided adhesive. I just got the sheets from Silhouette. I'm using a Tangram template that I bought on Etsy, and I'm going to cut that template out twice, once in the double-sided adhesive and then another time using this stencil vinyl. So I'm going to apply the stencil first. So I'm going to put my transfer tape on and I'm going to pull my backing off to make sure that this stencil transfers hassle-free. So I'm going to cut this down as close as possible to the stencil, obviously without trimming the stencil itself. I'm going to make sure it fits, and I'm going to use a just piece of regular blue tape to help me kind of create a hinge in removing the backing and applying the stencil. I'm going to cut one little piece of the backing off and then kind of just work my way around. So I'm going to use this first section of the stencil to place down on the tumbler, and then I'm going to use my scraper to remove that backing and adhere the stencil to the cup. Hopefully that makes sense with what you are seeing me do. It's really hard to explain, but I'm just using my scraper to kind of push that backing off and adhere the stencil to the cup at the same time. I want to make sure that my stencil is stuck down really well, so I'm going to go over with my scraper tool and then slowly start to peel off the transfer tape. As I'm removing the transfer tape, I'm cutting off kind of section by section just because I don't want a big piece of tape flailing around as I'm trying to do this. But once this is removed, we're ready to go with our stencil and we can start to plan our glitter placement and colors. This next planning step is totally optional. You could just go in and put your colors down randomly, but I'm pretty type A and I wanted to plan it out. So I wrote a list of all my colors. I went from darkest to lightest, and then I plotted my color numbers out on both the tumbler and the adhesive sheet, just making sure that they matched up and kind of plan out where the colors are going to go. I like to do this because I like to have a few different random sections of shapes. I like to kind of vary it up a little bit and make sure there isn't too much of one color in one place. Once we've got our plan in place, I'm going to start at 1 and just remove all the ones from the stencil, and I'm going to replace them with the ones from my double-sided adhesive sheet. So I like to place each little shape individually, just because I feel like it's more clean and I get a better placement rather than trying to wrap the full double-sided adhesive template around my cup. I just feel like that would be hard and messy, and these sheets aren't cheap, so I just wanted to play it safe and apply them one by hand. I did end up flipping my template over and kind of replotting everything out, just matching up the numbers, because it was easier to peel from the yellow side facing up versus the white side. So I would recommend, if you're using these same sheets, to start with the yellow side up. Once we've got all the pieces down for our first color, I'm going to go around and remove that top portion of the adhesive that's not sticky, so we reveal all of the sticky parts of all of our ones. And then I'm gonna go in with my first color glitter, which is Emerald City. I'm using the darkest color first because I want to place those down so when I'm moving later in the cup and I have glitter everywhere, I don't want that dark glitter to migrate into any of the lighter colors that we've put down. These adhesive sheets are pretty sticky, so you don't have to put a ton of glitter down. I did kind of tap the glitter down into each section just to make sure it was really stuck in there and wasn't gonna fall off when I brushed off any excess. After the glitter is applied, I'm going to tap off any excess, and then I'm going to go in with a chip brush or just a regular paintbrush and brush off any of that stray glitter that's just hanging out around the cup, covering the rest of the stencil. I'm doing this in between every single color because I really want my lines to be clean. I don't want the adhesive to be messed up by stray glitter or anything like that. So I'm just going to repeat this process, going down the list, removing color by color, and eventually we're gonna have a full glittered Tangram design. This process does take a really long time, but I would much prefer it over using Mod Podge and having to wait for each layer to dry, having things migrate into each other. I like this technique because once you put it down, it's dry and you can move on to the next step immediately. You don't have to wait for anything. So now we've got all our glitters in place. I'm going to spray seal them using Rust-Oleum Clear Gloss spray. I'm giving this a really heavy coat of clear gloss. I want this to be sealed. I don't want my glitters moving around, so I'm giving them a pretty thick coat of this. I'm gonna let it dry for about probably 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna go in with my first coat of epoxy. I'm using CCDIY medium viscosity artist resin, and I'm putting about 30 milliliters onto this cup. I want it to be pretty smooth. I don't want those glitters to move around with me trying to spread a really thin coat of epoxy over the cup, so make your first coat pretty hefty. Once that dries, I'm going to go in with another coat, and then I'm gonna sand everything down so it's perfectly smooth, and we'll be ready to apply our stripes. I'm going to be putting some black vinyl stripes on this cup. I'm using just regular black or a Cal 651. The way you place your stripes is totally up to you. Some people, no matter what color is on the cup, they want to just do each shape by itself, outline every single one. I like to outline each glitter color individually. So if I have a big chunk of glitter in one area, I'm going to outline where that glitter is. I zoomed you guys in so you could see a little bit better. I am applying my vertical lines, and then I'm going to go in and apply my diagonal lines. And now I put my diagonal lines over the vertical stripes, and I cut on the outside of the line. I know a lot of people will tell you to cut on the inside of the line, but I find, especially with black vinyl, that when you cut on the outside, you get a much cleaner seam, and you don't have to worry about any spacing in between the vertical line and the diagonal line. So totally up to you, but I prefer to cut on the outside. Regardless of where you're cutting your stripes, a super sharp X-Acto knife, like with a brand new blade, is going to save you. I changed my blade right before starting this process, and it made a world of difference. I used a dull blade for a different Tangram I did, and wow, change your blades, y'all. Applying all of these outlines and stripes is, I think, easier than the glittering part and applying the double-sided adhesive. So while this does take a pretty long time, it took me a couple hours to finish the cup, it is actually kind of relaxing. So I just turned on some music and went for it. Here's what our cup looks like with all of the shapes outlined. I am really loving this so far, and I'm so excited to see what it looks like under epoxy. I am going to seal this vinyl with Quick Coat from CCDIY before I apply my final coats of epoxy. I'm taking a super tiny amount, like less than 5 milliliters, and just spreading it all over the cup. Sealing your vinyl helps it to not lift under epoxy or repel the epoxy entirely. Most people will just seal their like holographic or chrome vinyl, but in this case, especially for this Tangram, I'm not taking any chances. I'm sealing everything. I let the quick coat dry for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then I went in with my final coats of epoxy. For the initial final coat, I'm using the Fast Set from CCDIY, and I'm using about 25 milliliters. And then for the final coat, I'm using regular CCDIY artist resin that we used in the beginning, and I'm going to put about 15 to 20 milliliters on that. And then we were done. I am so happy with how this turned out. I think this is probably one of the best tangrams I've made yet. I really like this color scheme and enjoyed making it. Hopefully you like how this turned out as well. And if you have been nervous to try Tangram because of the adhesive options, I encourage you to try the double-sided adhesive. It is really easy and clean. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments and subscribe to our channel. We come out with new videos every single week. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!